February 2nd, 2021. Welcome to Simple Man Radio. Sorry we're a little late, but me and Chris were talking about the draft and our draft plans and mock draft. So we were having a grand old time doing it. We could have talked about that for 10 minutes, just our plans for it. Chris, the entertainer, what's going on, my man? It's been a while. We didn't get to talk much last week because I was at the Senior Bowl. How are you doing?
Yeah, welcome back, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to jump into it, do a couple of shows with you this week, and yeah, we got some things to talk about. The Courtside Karen thing. Obviously, we'll talk some Knicks. We'll talk about the snow, like it says in the title. Mock drafts we could talk about forever. I just did mine yesterday. They're fun, like you said. It doesn't mean much, you know. You remember last year they had Andrew Thomas going like 20 before the draft, and then he ends up going 4. So it's all for fun. It's for learning the players, but I enjoy them.
Yeah, I love learning about new players. Like new is always more fun, so I love the mock draft stuff. We'll get into Courtside Karen, but what's up with the snow down there? I mean, I was dealing with some windy, it was windy down here in Florida, so I don't, but it seems like I might get you to move down here eventually.
Yeah,
I'll even throw in a free tire if you show up.
I'm getting sick of the snow here, and it finally stopped. I don't know how much we got, but it's got to be at least 18 inches to 2 feet, and I'm gonna have to go out there and shovel again and get rid of it. But I can't stand the snow in New York. It's the freaking worst. And I don't even live in the bad part of New York. Like upstate New York gets like 3 times the amount of snow that I get. But I'm sick of the cold, man. I might be moving to Florida. I might be one of those snowbirds. I'll go to Florida during the winter, come back to New York. I'm gonna be like what my grandpa used to be.
People hate on snowbirds. I love them. Like I welcome you down here every year. You probably might be like the youngest snowbird, Chris, but we'll still welcome you. Every once in a while, because I used to walk my dog on the beach, which you're not supposed to do, and there'd be like an old lady like, "Are you from here?" I was like, "Yep, actually, I live right across the street. So get out of here with your condescending self." Like, yes, I'm just breaking the law, lady. Leave me alone.
Did you ever see the movie I Love You, Man?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Remember when he's walking his dog on the beach?
No, I don't.
He drops a deuce on the boardwalk, and the jack guy steps in it.
Oh, I have an issue, Chris. If I watch a movie one time, I don't remember anything from it. Like I'll remember, the slap in the base, line.
Yeah.
I have to watch a movie twice to really remember things from it. So I actually saw that in theaters, but I don't remember that at all. So now I have to go rewatch I Love You, Man.
Yeah, that movie's great.
I know the Hank Mardukas. Like I love Hank Mardukas. So yeah, I spent a couple years in Minnesota, dude, and at first I loved the snow. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I was throwing snowballs at people. I was, the snowball champion for the first couple of days. And then after a couple of weeks, it's just miserable. And I remember coming back from Florida in like April, and it was snowing, and it was like I was like it. I've never had depression in my life. That might be the closest I was to it. Was coming from Florida back into the snow, and I was just miserable in it.
Yeah, everybody who doesn't live in the snow, like people who probably live where you live in Florida that have never experienced the snow, they're like, "Oh, I wish I got snow." Yeah, okay, live here for a year and then tell me that you like snow. Snow looks nice for about the first 5 minutes it comes down, and then you realize I got to shovel all that.
Yeah. We every once in a while where I'm at, it'll get like 31 degrees, and people are like, it's snowing outside, but it's literally like just specks, just time, like you can't even see them. And it's
they probably cancel school for
that. They should, honestly. With Zoom though, I feel like they're not even canceling stuff anymore. Like Justin works at a school, and they worked yesterday through Zoom. So Zoom has ruined snow days for kids.
Yeah, my sister used to work for the airline. She's saying the same thing about travel now. That she doesn't think people are going to be using planes as much because of Zoom. Because not obviously people on vacation, but like business travel, they won't use it as much now.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Did you see the plane I flew into to and from Alabama?
No, I didn't.
Dude, it was so funny. So it's called Silver Airways. I'll pull up the picture.
Silver Airways? That sounds like the type of plane that you worry if the engine's going to fall off. Oh, nice. It's not silver.
No, it was so tiny. And I'll show you the next picture. Here was me standing up in it. So it had the bend over. It was the tiniest plane. It was a propeller plane. Like I didn't realize they use those. I thought it was just airliners, and then like the private jets, and then those little tiny ones. It was small though, but it was an experience though. I wasn't complaining.
How much did that? Did they have to pay you to get on that plane or?
They should have. They should have. And at first, so when you book your seats, I was like, okay, I'm going to get towards the front. I was like, that's awesome. And then I realized they load from the back, so the front sucked. And then so I made sure to get in the back, but it was nice. I had my own row, so it sucked because it was small, but it was great because there wasn't a ton of people using that airline. So nice. I got my own row out of it. So I wasn't. If I can get my own row and spread my legs, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't care if I don't have a ton of leg room. I can make my own leg room. So I wasn't complaining.
And you got to meet Joe Judge. You got to meet Joe.
Dude. That was. I don't like the ambush style, but I was like, I have to do it. Like my followers bullied me into it when I said I saw them and I didn't approach them. So I went at, and first he was like, I don't know, I don't want to do this. But then he realized like, oh, you're the guy who makes the shake and bake shirts, and he loved it. It was a pretty cool moment. It's like, oh my God, one, they've seen our shirts. Two, they love us. Like they love that nickname of Shake and Bake, where Patrick Graham changed his freaking license plate to it. So that was a cool moment for us.
That is really cool. That's really cool, man. I hope one day I get to meet Judge. I bought the hat.
We got to. I know you do have the same hat. We got to figure out a way to ambush him.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. Next year I'll come down there with you and we'll ambush him.
What you got to. I see. They bailed me out though because I was super nervous. If they didn't know that nickname, like I would have been screwed. They'd be like, I guess it's a good nickname, and then it would have. I don't even know if I posted the video, but they saved me by loving the nickname. So. It ended up working out.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Let's talk about some current events. Let's stop talking about me. Did you see this I know you saw it. This Courtside Karen stuff. Yeah. I thought we weren't going to have anything to talk about today, and then I see this, and John Boy did a breakdown of it, and that's where I first saw it. This girl, she's 25 years old. She made very clear.
She claims she's 25 years old.
How old do you really think she is?
I feel like she's one of those older women that is trying to look younger. I think she's probably more like 35.
That's what she looks like.
Yeah,
she looks like
tons of makeup on,
tons of plastic.
Yeah.
And then her husband is like Big Carlos or whatever. Just harassing LeBron. Where are you on? Where do you stand on LeBron? Because you have LeBron fanboys and LeBron haters. Where do you stand on LeBron?
My opinion, I love LeBron the player. I think LeBron is. I don't go as far as the greatest ever. The LeBron sexuals, I think they call them LeBron sexuals. They will go as far to say he's better than Jordan. I won't go that far. I think he's the second greatest player ever. I do think he's sometimes he's a little bit of a bitch with certain things. But in this instance, I don't think he did anything wrong at all. It looks like that the guy was heckling him, and he kind of laughed it off from the clips that I saw. Sometimes I think he gets too political. I would rather just keep that out of sports and maybe talk about it after the game and stuff like that. But overall, I'm a big fan of LeBron. I think LeBron at this point. I used to hate LeBron because I'm a big Knicks fan.
That's so funny.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I used to be the biggest LeBron hater. Now I have an appreciation for him, but I do agree with you. He's super corny.
Yeah, that was my take on it too, because I'm a huge Knicks fan, and he kind of teased us, back in the summer of whatever it was.
Us too.
Yeah, and I thought that there was a good chance he could come here, and then he has the whole spectacle, and they have like the WWF intro where they say they're gonna win 6 rings or whatever they say, and I was like, I hate this guy. But now it's gotten to the point where I feel like LeBron James has gotten so much hate that now I've grown such an appreciation for him. I'm like, we don't realize, well, I do, but a lot of people don't realize how great of a player he is, and they're not going to realize it until such time he retires. So I think the hate's gotten way too out of hand with LeBron James.
I'm basically right there with you. Like you said, he teased us. He was the first meeting he took was with the Nets, and it's like, oh, they're moving to Brooklyn, Jay-Z, even though that was never going to happen. And then so I liked LeBron, and LeBron at that point was, like you couldn't really hate on LeBron the player at that point. It's like he dragged that Cavs team to the final. He was there was no like, oh, LeBron's not clutch. He chokes in the big moment. Because think about remember that series against Detroit and that game
Yeah.
6 or whatever where he scored 29 straight points. I was like, man, this is like one of the greatest like performances I've ever seen basketball wise, if not the greatest, to win that series with those Cleveland players where Boobie Gibson was probably their second best player. Drew Gooden starting for them.
Anderson Varejao.
Varejao. So it's
Mo
like
Williams,
when they got swept by the Spurs. So I wasn't like, oh, they got swept by the Spurs. I was like, it's crazy that he got this team here.
Yeah.
But then the Miami thing, I hated him. I mean, I was picking the Bucks to beat them in the first round. I hate him. I was like Brandon Jennings and Monte Ellis are gonna like those two dudes are real. They're gonna beat the Heat in 6 games. Like I hated Miami. I rooted. If you go back and ask when I first started using Twitter and I didn't use it for 5 years. Oh my! I hated LeBron with a passion. And then that series against Dallas, where it's like, oh my! It was maybe the biggest choke job of all time was LeBron in that series versus Dallas.
You had and I remember they were mocking Dirk too. There was a video that came out where Dwayne Wade and LeBron were mocking Dirk.
Yep.
The sick thing, whatever it was. But I still say it to this day. To me, since I've been watching basketball, that is probably the greatest individual performance I've seen throughout an entire playoff run. Dirk Nowitzki during that playoff run. He put that team on his back. His second best player was Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler. And everybody forgets the teams they knocked off before the finals. They knocked off the Lakers, who I think were the defending champions.
Yep.
They knocked off the Memphis Grizzlies, who had a really good team that year. And they knocked off the Spurs before they even got to the finals. And then they knock off the Miami Heat with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. But obviously everybody would. That's whenever the Jordan LeBron debate comes up, I go right to that. I say Jordan never loses that series to the Dallas Mavericks. Doesn't happen.
Even if he loses it, he doesn't perform like that. That. So I do agree with you, Jordan, greater than LeBron. Although I do get annoyed by the the losses in the finals thing. It's like, well, because he got there more, But yeah, I'm with you on Jordan greater than LeBron. That finals, that Mavs team was put together. That Mavs team was built to win. Like it's just like you had. Obviously Dirk doing his thing, and then you had Tyson Chandler, who was like the perfect center for that team playing. Like defense was great. The Heat struggled against teams with centers. They made Hibbert. The Miami Heat sent Roy Hibbert to an All-Star game. That's how much they struggled with centers. You got Jason Kidd, who wasn't prime Kidd, but still knew how to get guys involved. Berea, that burst off the bench, and then Jason Terry was huge.
Sean Marion was on that team.
Marion was huge. Like that team was put together perfectly for the playoffs.
Josh Howard was on that team.
Was Josh Howard on that team?
I think he was.
That was a player where it's like, oh man, this guy's really good, and then he just fell off.
Yeah. He was a small forward. Yeah, he kind of fell. He fell off quick. He was good for like 3 years.
I loved him, and then like you said, he just totally fell off. But yeah, but LeBron, when he went to Cleveland, I was like, that's cool. Like that's really cool going back to Cleveland and then winning that title. Like that might be one of the best finals performances was winning that title. And even the year before when they lost with no Kevin Love and Kyrie, I mean, he was averaging like 45 points per game just to win 2 games in that series was nuts. So I gained an appreciation, and I didn't want to be the guy who looked back and be like, I just hated on this guy for his whole career. I enjoy it. But he's the corniest dude ever because he's been so good. He's never really had people come at him. So he's just like the corniest dude ever. Like, he's probably the corniest superstar of all time because he's just always been the best.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing that people don't like about him, and I get it, is that like Michael Jordan didn't have to announce to the world how great he was. People just knew it. With LeBron, I feel like he does that. Like he's come out and said he's the greatest and yada 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 yada. I think people don't like that also.
Yeah, and like trying to copyright Taco Tuesday. It's like, dude, you don't own Taco Tuesday. It's like everyone has Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday is a thing. Like you didn't. Like, does LeBron think in his head that he created Taco Tuesday? Like, come on, dude. What are you Taco Tuesday? You own like trying to copyright Taco Tuesday? Are you like that's like, dude, you're delusional. Like, yeah. I like LeBron, but he does crack me up with how corny he is sometimes.
If LeBron was on YouTube, and I do the live streams, if he was on YouTube, he would let the trolls get to him. He's that type of guy.
Yes. Yes.
Like when I'm live and the trolls will come in, they start bashing me and they try to get under my skin. They would get under his skin. He would flip out, and that's the type of guy he is.
And that's why I love guys like Lance Stevenson and stuff. Like people are like, "Oh, Lance Stevenson's annoying." It's like, you know what? It also is getting in LeBron's head. Like that messed with LeBron. Like that bothered LeBron and made LeBron play worse. So you could say Lance is an idiot all you want, but that kind of stuff worked against LeBron. So I always loved Lance, and I was rooting for those teams so hard to beat the Miami Heat version of LeBron so bad. I hated him so much.
No, I'm the same as you. I hated him, and now I actually kind of love him because of all the hate that he's gotten.
Yeah. People NBA Twitter might be the most annoying section of social media, like of anything, is NBA Twitter.
Well, one debate that annoys me the most, and I guess it's like, you know what's so funny, Bobby, is, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because Kobe Bryant, we grew up near the same era in basketball, and Kobe Bryant, in my opinion, is not nearly as good as people make him out to be. He's phenomenal. He's one of the top 10 players who ever lived.
Kobe fans are nuts, dude.
But people who put Kobe Bryant on the same level as LeBron James need to have their head examined. And the younger generation, I think, is attracted to Kobe because he was kind of that last guy that was against the teaming up thing. Like
Kobe was cool, too.
Yeah, he wanted to get rid of Shaq. He wanted to be the guy. He wanted to do it on his own. Now today's superstars all want to team up with one another. But if you watch Kobe, people forget Tracy McGrady. There was a debate growing up as a kid: who's better, Tracy McGrady or Kobe Bryant? Before McGrady had some injuries, Kobe is not near LeBron James. They're not even close.
Kobe gets off the hook too. Kobe demanded a trade on live radio. Yes, he demanded a trade on live radio. He gets off the hook for that. The Lakers just said no. They're like, no, we're not trading you. Dude, we just got rid of Shaq and Phil Jackson for you. Think we're going to trade you now? You're out of your mind. Kobe, and it's a tough situation because obviously, he died. So it's you want to like tiptoe around it. But yeah, I have friends who they're Lakers fans, so they're Kobe fans. I just couldn't believe, like, we would argue for 2 hours of LeBron versus Kobe. And I was like, LeBron's better than Kobe. And
it shouldn't even be a debate.
LeBron, like, Kobe's a pure scorer. LeBron's not a pure scorer, and LeBron has more points.
I'm curious to see if you agree with this. I think LeBron, and he's not close, is closer to Jordan than Kobe is to LeBron.
Yes, Kobe's not people say, like, even Kobe fans will be like, oh, well, it's MJ, LeBron, Kobe. It's like, no, Kobe's not free. Like, Shaq to me is a greater all-time player than Kobe. I know
Magic Johnson.
There's so many.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kobe is closer to 10 than he is 3.
I think Duncan and Kobe's a discussion.
Yeah. I still might go Duncan though,
Yeah, so. I think that's more his level though. Not LeBron.
Like, think about Tony Parker, Manu, those guys are great, but like those were Tim Duncan's teams, and then the last one obviously was with Kawhi was the guy. But those, like, Tim Duncan, people forget how great he was. So yeah, I can't stand, obviously you're not going to go out and bash Kobe anymore because he died, but it's like Kobe fans were the most delusional people in the world. And I'm sure we got a few in the chat, but they were just straight up delusional at times. It's like it's like, how do you, and they believed it, it's one thing to be a fanboy and just argue for your fan, but they believed the things they said. I mean, it was so frustrating.
Well, they wanted their generation's Michael Jordan. That's what they wanted. And Kobe kind of played like Jordan.
That's the thing. It's people like, oh, well, he was the closest thing to Jordan. Like, yeah, play style wise.
Yeah.
But not greatness wise. Like, he's not the closest thing.
Carson Wentz play style wise is kind of like Aaron Rodgers. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, exactly. So, and MJ, and here's how MJ is threatened by LeBron. He is. Now, I am very clear. I think MJ is the GOAT, number one. But Michael Jordan is threatened by LeBron. That's why he doesn't like to go out to compliment him. That's why he decided to do the documentary like the day after, LeBron won the 2016 finals when, the LeBron probably was at his height of of who he was before the Warriors got Kevin Durant. He's threatened by him. And I remember he was at a camp and someone was like, who's greater, LeBron or Kobe? He's like, 5 is greater than 3 to me. It's like you don't believe, like you don't believe that, MJ. So he's always been threatened by LeBron, because LeBron is LeBron. I don't think is better than MJ, but he is the closest thing to MJ.
He's the closest. And the other thing that I think people need to take more into account with LeBron, that he also needs to get some credit for. There has never been an athlete, at least in my lifetime, outside of maybe Tiger Woods, that had more pressure on him before he stepped on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
He was being anointed the next Michael Jordan before he played a game, and he surpassed those expectations. So
he ruined the NBA draft for me, because that was the first NBA draft I really got into, was the LeBron draft.
Yeah.
Like I watched basketball before that, but it's like I probably became like a big basketball, like big time sports basketball fan that year. So I remember the next year, it's like, oh, the first overall pick was just supposed to be great, like LeBron. It's like, how come Dwight Howard's not, at LeBron there? It's like Andre Bargnani. Why, like this guy? How is this guy not an all-star?
Michael Olowokandi.
Yeah, like LeBron James ruined the draft for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh wow, he's really the only one. Like these guys don't come around. Like who's the closest number 1 overall pick to LeBron? Anthony Davis? I'm saying since LeBron.
Yeah. Maybe Zion in terms of hype.
But I'm saying like that's accomplished because Zion could be.
Anthony Davis probably. Yeah.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
So
who's not close?
But anyway, it's Courtside Karen. I love people like this. Like they're crazy, but I love people like this. I love watching people at this game, like this at games. And then like the old head, her husband, she's just like, and he called him an old steroid ass, which is a great insult, like old steroid ass.
You could tell she was going to that game she accomplished what she wanted. Now people know who she is. That's what she was doing.
Courtside. Now, but LeBron killed her though. Like LeBron, like it would have been something people, but LeBron tweeting out Courtside Karen has it ruins her. She is Courtside Karen for the rest of her life. She will always, instead of being the girl who like got into it with LeBron and it gets forgotten about, she is now Courtside Karen for the rest of her life.
Yeah, but she probably loves it. She's getting free press.
I don't even know what to say about it. It's just ridiculous. But I think me and you may have had the most reasonable MJ versus LeBron talk of all time. Like usually it's the most annoying thing in the world. Like I used to, like on Silverman Radio, we would every interview we used to, I guess we're on Silverman Radio, but we used to do interviews for Silverman Radio when it was like my main thing. And we would finish it every time with MJ, every interview. Like even for like NFL players, NFL beat writers, we'd be like, who's the GOAT, MJ or LeBron? Because it was such an annoying debate. And you'd be surprised how many people are Kobe guys. Like, remember John Hillman? Yeah. He's like, Kobe. Cody Latimer. He said Kobe. It's like, what is wrong with you guys? So
that's their generation's Jordan. That's what it is. They want to say they watched the guy.
Yeah, Kobe. I mean, Kobe's great, but his fans were nuts. I'm not going to go in on this Courtside Karen lady.
There's not much to talk about. She's just a crazy buffoon who went out there and tried to make a name for herself. And LeBron was saying, I think she took her mask off. He was criticizing her for that. And
I got heat for that with my Joe Judge thing because I had it around my neck. And when I forgot to pull it up. So people were like, wear a damn mask, Skinner. It's like, okay, like relax. Like it was an accident. But yeah. I was watching Skip Bayless got. Yeah, do you ever see the Skip Bayless tweets? Be like now on it, like he'll say something outrageous, but like now on Undisputed.
I don't follow him, but every once in a while I'll see his tweets.
I love Skip. I think he's one of those nuts people. I love him. And they were like, dude, the mask thing's the worst. It's like, I don't know. Like she was going off on his ass. Like I think that's a little worse than her pulling her mask down for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your Knicks though.
Yeah.
You guys, lost last night. Where are you at with the Quickly Payton stuff? Like, I think it's an ongoing saga, but Quickly's playing. I know Payton is starting, but Quickly's playing a good amount more than Payton. So I mean, if you look at Payton like playing only 18 minutes with the way your guys' rotation is, that doesn't feel like the worst thing in the world, but it does suck that he's starting.
Yeah. First off, I thought we were gonna lose. I mean, every time I go live, I'm a fan. I get into it. I pick us to win, but I thought there was a really good chance we were gonna lose to last night because it was a back-to-back. You were traveling to Chicago, so I think we'll win the second game against Chicago in Chicago tomorrow. We'll see. Um, the defense, they were just tired last night. They were getting killed on switches and everything else. But as far as quickly goes, I mean, I'm in love with the guy, but I'm like what you just said. I don't really care about if he starts or not, as long as he's getting the minutes, and he's starting to. He got 27 the game before. He got 30 last night, and you could already see Thibodeau favoring him. He got pissed at Peyton in the first quarter. Only 7 minutes in, he pulled him because he made a stupid pass. Thibodeau snapped up off the bench. He said, "Quickly, let's go." He brought him in the game. So I think quickly he's going to morph into the starter. It's just a matter of time, but my mindset with that has always been I understand why he's coming off the bench to provide a spark. We don't have a lot of scoring with the second unit. You put Alfred Payton with that second unit, who's going to score? So I understand why he does it. As long as he's the guy closing out games, as long as he's the guy getting the majority of the minutes, that's all I really care about. I said it last night. John Starks, probably the second best player in those Knicks teams. He came off the bench. So I don't really care if he's coming off the bench or not, if it's for the betterment of the team. So he's getting minutes. That's all I really care about. And to me, Quickly's looking more and more like the steal of the draft this year. I mean, 25th pick overall, and right now he's second in the league in scoring for rookies.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's second or third.
Does his shot form scare you?
Maybe
look like a little kid shooting.
Maybe a little bit, but I think he's got the teardrop shot down. That's a great weapon.
Oh, he's the teardrop king.
Oh, he's the teardrop king. And the other thing that I love about his game, and I say it all the time, he's so smart. His ability to draw fouls, especially from behind the three-point line. So maybe a little bit. Maybe it looks a little funky, but no, I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but I definitely think it was a really good pick at 25. I think he's going to be a good player.
I saw CBS Sports finally. They made a meme because you know how every time Quickly comes in play and they bring up the screenshot of the D+ draft grade.
Yeah.
They change it to A+ with like the Homer Simpson like coming in and out of the bushes. I don't know if you saw that. I thought that was a great way because like every time anything happens that gets spammed in their replies. So they finally just like, all right, here, A+. So I like IQ. And I like how much Knicks fans like him too.
I just looked it up. He's averaging the second most points of all rookies, 12.6 points. Edwards is second with 13.6. And you also got to factor in the minutes aren't there for Quickly. So he's been impressive.
I haven't gotten into the NBA. Once the Super Bowl ends, then is when I get more into the NBA.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching the Nets. I'm watching every Nets game. I click on League Pass while I'm getting some, grinding film or whatever. But yeah.
You guys scored 146 points and lost. What the hell's going on with that?
Did you watch the end of that game?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know what to say. Like, what was Joe Harris thinking? I don't understand what Joe Harris was thinking. It's like it was just stupid. You had all your timeout. You had 2 timeouts, and it wasn't like it was 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's just like, it was like he catches the ball out of bounds and just like it immediately like throws it to him. Didn't even think about it. I was like, are you brain dead, Joe Harris? Like, I don't understand this. And then TLC misses the layup. So what's been going around lately is that since the Harden trade, we are on pace to have the greatest offensive rating of all time and the worst defensive rating of all time, which our defense is definitely an issue and it's never going to be good. But I also do think like when we lock in on the playoffs, it's going to be it's going to be better. Like you're not going to have teams dropping 140 on us in the playoffs, and we won't be dropping 140 in the playoffs. So there's nothing on the Nets that worries me right now, but it's just, as a fan, every stuff like that just frustrates the crap out of me. Where it's like I always say, like, am I worried about Joe Harris inbounding stupid passes for the rest of the season? No, but it just doesn't make, I don't understand what in the world he was thinking to throw that ball in to nobody, or not even nobody, just right to the Wizards. And then also, I'd have a theory that Westbrook, whenever he plays Durant, practices his jump shot for like 2-3 hours extra because Westbrook was hitting everything. His 3-point shooting was off the train. Like he was like, people were crapping on him like crazy for his time with the Wizards, and rightfully so. But that game, He was like, it looked like, MVP Russ plus with a 3-point shot. So Russ, all of a sudden he's magically shooting better when he's playing KD.
Yeah, well, you knew he was extra motivated for that game. But like you just said, if I was a Nets fan, I'm not worried about it. I honestly don't think you guys will win a championship this year, but I do think you could very well go to the finals, and I think you'll turn it up come playoff time. You got veterans on that team. They're coached.
We're gonna add Andre Drummond too. Andre Drummond buyout. It's gonna happen. I'm believing it.
Andre Drummond, really?
I think he might get a buyout in Cleveland. So and he'll come to the Nets. Let me put it this way: DeAndre Jordan won't be our starting center for the start of the playoffs. I don't believe that he will be. Might not even be in the freaking rotation, to be honest.
We'll trade you Mitch Robinson
for DeAndre Jordan straight up.
No. We want draft picks. Well, you don't have them. You can't make a trade. You have no draft picks.
We can scrape together a couple of second rounders for Mitch. So Jared Allen's been balling with Cleveland too, which hasn't
we just played Cleveland the other night. He looked good.
Yeah, which hasn't made it easier. And Jared Allen's one of those guys. Like, I love Allen and LeVert. Those are two of my favorite guys.
I'm just curious. You said you're doing your mock draft today, right?
Yeah.
What position do you got us taking in the first round?
I think the first round. I'm probably gonna go Waddle.
Yeah,
I was thinking about going Surtain, but I'm probably gonna go Waddle. What did you go? I haven't watched yours yet.
I had a surprise, and I could be completely wrong, and maybe I'll change my opinion in a couple of months. I had Devontae Smith falling to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had.
You know what? That's not crazy. That's not as crazy, because I can see NFL teams being like Jamar Chase is one.
Yep. And
if Jalen Waddle never gets hurt, there's a good chance that everyone says Jalen Waddle is better than Devontae Smith. When they play together, Waddle's stats are better.
Yeah.
So, Waddle's not big, but Devontae Smith is like really small. So I'm with you. I can see that. I don't think that's as crazy as people make it out to be.
That's actually my ranking. I have Chase one. I would prefer Waddle. I have Waddle above Devontae Smith.
I think I'm going to probably end up with that too. So yeah, it could be one of those, and you know how it is. Media will say one thing, and then NFL teams are thinking the other thing. You look at what the offensive tackles. Dwayne Haskins was a media creation. Like, Dwayne Haskins was a total media darling, where basically like every majority of NFL scouts hated Dwayne Haskins. They hated him.
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky, because he came on his show and would retweet him, was like, this guy's the next greatest thing. And Louis Riddick and ESPN to plug their program. And I know that's why they did it. Dan Orlovsky, who I think Dan Orlovsky is a smart guy. I think he's a good analyst. But that's when he was brand new. I am very convinced that the only reason he was pumping up Dwayne Haskins is because Dwayne Haskins would retweet him and would come on Get Up in the morning and go through film. Because there is just no way you can watch what he did at Ohio State and be like, this guy, like, guaranteed this guy is the guy. Because he underthrew balls all the time. He was inaccurate. He's just throwing to wide open people on drag routes all game long. So.
No, you might be right. You might be right about that. What did you think of Orlovsky's take about the Giants?
Oh, the Giants?
Deshaun Watson.
I'm not on board with that. Look at the Texans right now.
Yeah.
Look at now, if they did that, if let's say they traded the 3 first-round picks, Jones and Saquon,
yeah,
I do think we're the favorites to win the NFC East next year. I do think. Short term, I think we're the favorites to win the NFC East. But I don't think we're the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
That's what I said. I said to myself, like, the goal is to win Super Bowls. And if you do this, I think it actually hurts our chances of winning Super Bowls. Because
I think it's a short term. It's like, okay, good. Long term, it gets you in trouble. But you can also say, well, you have that pick in Watson, and you draft well in the later rounds. You could do it. So I would, if they did that, I wouldn't be mad. But also, it's like, I look at the Texans. It's like, even when they had DeAndre Hopkins, they never got out of the second round. Like, they weren't some like dominant team, and they had some good players, on the defensive side of the ball too. So they were good, but they weren't like Deshaun Watson isn't Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, I don't care how bad his defense was last year, and it was bad. Aaron Rodgers ain't ever going 4-12. Pat Mahomes is never going 4-12. He's not on that level. Those guys would not allow their team to go 4-12. So I'm not giving away the farm for him. I'm sorry. I mean, and the other thing that people got to take into account is the cap space that it ties up. You're going to be tying it not this year, but the following years. He's going to these $40 million a year. So it's going to have casualties on your defense. You're going to lose Peppers. You're probably going to lose Leonard Williams. It's going to affect your team. And right now, I don't want to blow this rebuild up. We've been rebuilding now for 2 years. Let them keep it going, and that's what it would do. It would scrap everything up. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. So like I said, if they did it, because it is hard to find out that QB's position, and you can't no one can say for sure that Daniel Jones is the guy. I like Jones, but he hasn't proven himself yet. Yeah. So getting that QB is a hard thing to do. So I get the idea of it, but I don't know. I just think I don't think you'd get a Super Bowl out of it, really. Or maybe if you did, it'd be like 6-7 years from now. So
and you only have a 4-year commitment. Deshaun Watson's only under contract for 4 years, and who knows, he might force his way off the team. You don't know that. You just did it with Houston.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. So I don't think Houston's trading him anyways. I think the Jets are the only.
There? Really?
I think it's the Jets are bust. I think it's if the Jets are willing to do it, but he's not going to hold out. He may hold out for like a couple games, but he is not going to hold out on the Texans. He has 4 years left on his deal, hundreds of millions of dollars. He's not going to. He might try and do it, but it's not going to. It can't last.
What do you think a trade package would cost after seeing what Stafford got?
Stafford, who's not any like the Stafford love is a little over the top too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he have some years where his team let him down? Yeah. But guess what? Matt Stafford was the guy letting the Lions down a couple of years too. He had a top 3 defense, Calvin Johnson and prime Golden Tate, and he look at his numbers from that year. They're worse than Daniel Jones' rookie season. Like he completed worse completion percentage, less touchdowns, same amount of interceptions. So this idea that Matthew Stafford is going to be the next best thing, it's he kind of is who he is. It's going to be 3 first-round picks and a player. 3 first-round picks and a player, I think, is what it's going to take to get Watson. Unless he makes it really ugly. Unless he gets really ugly. But right now, it's not – what Watson's doing is not ugly.
Yeah.
If he goes Antonio Brown mode, it could be.
I think it costs more than that. I think it might be more than 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Because you've never had a quarterback like him at 25 available via trade. It's never happened.
No. I think the Jets are the only team that can make it happen.
What about Miami?
I think they could. I don't think they will.
No. You think they'll stick with Tua?
Yeah. They drafted him because they liked him,
Yeah.
And I think people forget the minds of these coaches and GMs. You may not like Tua, but guess who does? The people who drafted in him. They believe in him. So Miami could do it, but I don't think they will. I think the Jets are the team that makes the most sense because they have those Jamal Adams, those picks from the Jamal Adams trade.
You know who I blame for all this this lack of patience at the quarterback position, and let's do this and let's do that.
Patrick Mahomes,
the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, they did. Yeah, people act like that wasn't a one-off. That what they did was a one-off thing.
First off, is it really a one-off? What have they accomplished, Bobby? They went 8-8 this year. What did they accomplish?
Yeah, that's true. And people don't like Cliff
and they shouldn't have even been a real 8-8, to be honest with you. They had a Hail Mary pass against I think it was Buffalo. They should have lost that game. They had a miracle comeback against Seattle. They could easily went 6-10. Kyler Murray, you want to talk about a guy who's been hyped up, and I'm not saying he can't be great. He's been hyped up. He was 4th preseason in the MVP voting.
He's the most overrated player in the NFL.
I completely agree with
Murray.
You.
I'm not even knocking him. I don't dislike Kyler, but he is the most overrated player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I blame the Arizona Cardinals for all this instant gratification, Madden era. Everybody thinks like Madden now. Let's just trade all these players. Oh, he's not working after a game. Let's get rid of him. He's done. Let's bring in the next quarterback. That's not how it works, Bobby.
I know. Listen, give Daniel Jones year 3. So, all right, what's your pick of the day? I'm going Nets -1.5 versus the Clippers. We play to our competition. So if you suck, we're going to suck that game. But if you're a good team like the Clippers, we're going to play good. I'm going homer pick Nets -1.5.
All right, let me take a quick. I did not look at the lines. I probably should have done that before. I don't even know what I'm doing with that. But
I forget almost every episode too. This was the one time I did it.
I will go. You know what? Okay, I just looked at the spreads. I'll go. Give me the Celtics. Give me the Celtics -2.5.
Celtics minus.
in Golden State. I'll take the Celtics.
Bam, I like it. So Danny is 4-3-1. I'm 6-7. You are 3-2-1, and then Snacks is 2-1. He only comes on once a week, so he has less games. So you're basically in first place. If you win tonight, you are in sole possession of first place.
I'm 3-2-1. What are you?
6-7. So I'll hit 500 if I can win tonight.
So if I win, I'm at first. Okay, I like that. I like the sound of that. All right. I started off bad too. I think it was 0-2.
Yeah. I still have some notes. Actually, I won't share them. All right, that's the show. Chris, thank you for your time. Thank you, followers, listeners, watchers, viewers. Appreciate it. What is our Super Bowl pick? You'll find out later this week. You will find out later this week. Thank you, Jay, for the support. We appreciate you guys. Stay simple.